In this video, we're going to run some examples from the Fotahub Device SDK for Windows. This ladder enables developers to create firmware for Windows-based IoT devices that can be updated through Fotahub. If you haven't already done so, start by creating a product on Fotahub. You can check my previous video for guidelines on how to do it. In the Product Creation Wizard, enter a name to your product and select the versioning scheme you want to use for your firmware versions. Also choose the binary verification method and algorithm used to verify new firmware versions downloaded from Fotahub before applying them. Finalize the creation of your product. Click on the Fotahub logo in the title bar and then on Download the Device SDK. You should select Windows platform. Then download and uncompress the Fotahub Device SDK for Windows to a location of your choice on your machine. On your laptop, you need a GCC compiler or linker toolchain. We recommend using MCS2, the Python 3 interpreter, a text editor or IDE of your choice like Visual Studio Code. The Fotahub Windows SDK comes with 3 examples: simple, revertible, and ThinkShadow. We'll stick to the simple example for now. The simple example demonstrates the most straightforward manner to make firmware over-the-air updates with Fotahub. It's a kind of Hello World example for photo updating and a perfect way to get started in this field. In this example, your Windows desktop computer will be used as an imaginary IoT device. The IoT device firmware is going to be an executable program. The example demonstrates a full firmware update cycle using Fotahub directly on your Windows machine. Now you need to create and run the initial firmware version. To do so, start the Visual Studio Code and open the simple example included in the Fotahub Device SDK for Windows. Open the Demo Product Info header file in the Demo Product folder and initialize the Demo Product ID and the Demo Product name constants with the ID and the name of the previously created Fotahub product. In order to retrieve the ID of the product, go to the Product Details view on Fotahub, click on Settings and then on the Expand button under General. Copy the ID into the clipboard and then initialize the constant accordingly. Update the Demo Product name constant with the name of your created product as displayed in the product settings. Leave the Demo Product firmware version as is for now. In case you have selected anything else than SHA-256 as the binary checksum algorithm for your Fotahub product, or opted for using a signature instead, you must also adjust the Demo Product firmware update verification algorithm constant accordingly. Open the integrated terminal and build the example by invoking the make command. You can find the resulting firmware program, the executable Windows file, in the bin folder. Its name equals the name of the Fotahub product configured in the Demo Product header file without spaces. Now you need to create and upload a new firmware version to Fotahub. Go back to the Demo Product Info header file in the Demo Product folder and bump the Demo Product firmware version constant. Rebuild the example using make update equals yes this time and locate the resulting new firmware using the Explorer view, just as you did earlier. Its name is the name of the Fotahub product configured in the Demo Product Info header file without spaces, followed by an update suffix. Copy its path to the clipboard and upload the resulting new program as firmware version 1.1 to your Fotahub product. To do so, go to the Products dashboard and find your product. Click on the product name to open its details view, click on Upload Firmware and choose the Upload with Wizard option. Enter the version of the firmware to be uploaded and optionally a comment. The version format must match the firmware versioning scheme defined upon product creation. Click on Next to get to the binary upload page, drag and drop or browse the binary of the new firmware version to be uploaded, and then on Upload to start the firmware upload process. When completed, you will get redirected back to the Product Details view and see the newly uploaded firmware version along with its properties. Most importantly, you will be able to find the firmware binary download URL and its checksum that has been automatically calculated based on the binary checksum algorithm chosen upon product creation. Copy this checksum. Now you can make your first firmware over-the-air update. Go back to the Visual Studio Code And launch the initial firmware version by invoking the executable firmware program according to your Fotahub product name. The firmware program prints a banner including the product name and the initial firmware version into the terminal output. It also creates and opens the demo product update.info file directly in Visual Studio Code. Enter the new firmware version followed by a colon, the checksum or signature in the demo product update.info file and save it. This will trigger the firmware over-the-air update procedure. Upon successful completion, the initial firmware program exits and the new firmware version downloaded from Fotahub is started automatically. To verify that, check the firmware version in the banner being printed into the terminal output. Congratulations! You've made your first photo update of your Windows-based IT device using Fotahub.